Good afternoon. It's 4:30. We'll call the July 22nd, 2025 meeting of the Mill Creek Township Board of Supervisors to order. Would you please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there any public comment on agenda items other than development rezoning applications? Move on to approval of the minutes from the July 8th, 2025 regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 5 is approval of the bills. Is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 6 is a public hearing on subdivision and land development plans. We'll first start with Mill Creek Town Center Plan Number 2, Consolidation Subdivision Plan. Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is a minor subdivision plan to show the creation of a 6.240 acre lot titled 2R and the creation of a 3.484 acre lot titled 4R along the north line of West Ridge Road, east of Millfair Road in Tract 314. At their regular meeting of Tuesday, July 1st, 2025, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision plan.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and open up the hearing. Is there someone here to speak on behalf of this plan? Okay. Is there anyone here to speak on this plan? Okay. Okay, seeing no one, I will go ahead and close the hearing. Is there a motion to approve this subdivision plan?
I'll make that motion, Dan.
And I will second.
Has been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The next item is a subdivision plan number 1 for Thomas Colicchio, a minor subdivision plan. Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. Yes, this is a minor subdivision plan to show the creation of a 13,433 square foot Lot 1, a 26,856 square foot Lot 2, and a 990 square foot lot, which is to become an integral part of 4029 Lakefront Drive. These would be created from the property at 4026 Westlake Road and would result in a 9.36 acre residual lot located along the north line of Westlake Road, east of Montpelier Avenue in Tract 279. And at their regular meeting of Tuesday, July 1st, 2025, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision plan.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and open up the hearing. Is someone here to speak?
Good afternoon, Mike Sanford, 4721 Atlantic Avenue. I'm the surveyor that made the plan for Mr. Colicchio, and it's as you described, 2 lots being created, one on Westlake Road, one near Lake Erie, and then a side lot addition. The 2 owners would like to exchange some property. A plan very similar to this was submitted to you a couple months ago. That plan was not recorded because the 2 owners wanted to do this side lot addition. So we made a revision and it went back to Planning Commission, and now it's back before you. So we're here today looking for approval.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Mr. Sanford? Okay, thank you, Mr. Sanford. Anyone else here wishing to speak on this plan? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the hearing. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 7 is new and amended ordinances under review. Attorney Shaw?
Yes, we have 2 ordinances under review. The Saldo, we're meeting with engineering and planning and the development departments to finalize that. And then fines and penalties, updating that portion of the code. Over the years, townships adopted various ordinances to include provisions relating to fines and penalties. We're reviewing those to update those to current standards.
Thank you. Item 8 is Resolution 2025-R28, resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015-R20 in the Municipal Records Manual to approve the proposed disposition of certain township records. Attorney Shaw.
Yes, before you is a resolution to approve the disposal of certain municipal records maintained by the police department that are reaching the end of their retention period under the Municipal Records Manual. The police department records to be disposed of include MVR BWC footage that includes test recordings from 5/23/25 through 6/5/25, traffic stops from 4/23/25 through 5/6/25, incident only in special circumstances, reports from 7/21/23 through 8/11/23, and case report, arrest report, SRR unknown types from 7/21/05 through 8/11/05. The recommendation would be to approve the disposal of these records.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 9 is a resolution 2025-R29, resolution of Mill Creek Township authorizing a financial assistance application to the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority, PennVest. Mr. Waldinger.
Yes, thank you. The township is planning to undertake a project titled the Kearsarge Station Force Main Replacement Project. This would replace 7,182 lineal feet of existing 16-inch iron force main with a 16-inch plastic force main within Mill Creek Township and continuing on into the city of Erie. The existing force main has reached the end of its useful life and has experienced frequent breaks. The proposed project consists of replacing the existing force main in the same general alignment and within previously disturbed rights-of-way or easements through private properties. In order to fund this replacement, we have identified PennVest as a source of funding. And in order to apply for a PennVest loan to fund this project, a resolution must be passed by the board. So before you, Resolution 2025-R29 would authorize the township to submit a financial assistance application to PennVest for the purpose of financing the construction, rehabilitation, and/or extension of the sewer system. The resolution also authorizes appropriate officers of the township to execute all certifications and documentation required in connection with the application.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Mr. Waldinger?
I have a couple questions, Matt. So this doesn't obligate us to use PennVest. It's kind of like just getting pre-approved.
Yes, it would authorize us to submit the application. If we are able to submit it by the end of July, I believe their next funding decision is in sometime in October. We would find out if they decided to approve it, and then we would decide on whether or not we would accept their award or not. The benefit of the PennVest program is they also analyze the project for grants. So there's a potential that some of it could be funded by grant and some of it could be loan. So we will find that out after they hold their meeting in October. This is just the first step applying for that funding.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Matt.
I think I'd also add, in addition, the loan is at 1% for the first 5 years, and it goes up to a whopping 1.75% for the balance of the loan. So it's pretty good rates.
Sure is.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 10 is Resolution 2025-R30, resolution of the Township of Mill Creek recognizing the expiration of Mill Creek Township's right to open the east and west lanes of Grandview Boulevard, now known as Westminster Boulevard. Attorney Shaw.
Yes, the township received a request from residents asking the township to acknowledge that its rights to the paper streets described in the resolution have expired, and that would be its rights to develop that as a road. This resolution recognizes that the township has no rights or interest in the unopened portions of the east and west lanes of Westminster Boulevard and the unopened portion of Park Street as laid out in the 1922 subdivision map. The resident's property abuts a portion of Grandview Boulevard, now known as Westminster Boulevard, in the Westminster subdivision that has never been opened by the township or used by the public in more than 21 years. As a result, any interest in those paper streets held by the township have long expired under state law. So by this resolution, the board recognizes that the township no longer has any rights to the portions of the unopened portion of Grandview Boulevard, now known as Westminster Boulevard, and Park Street that was laid out more than 21 years ago, as described in the resolution. The resolution also notes that the township has a sanitary sewer line in the unopened portion of Westminster Boulevard, and the township rights in that line and the right to reconstruct, construct, and maintain the sanitary line shall remain in place. I'd also point out that the township actually owns property that abuts the other side of both of these roads, and it would retain its rights as a property owner as opposed to as a township with respect to some portion of that road that has not been opened. So the recommendation would be to approve this resolution.
All right, thank you. Any comments or questions for Attorney Shaw regarding this? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 11 is an MOU with Community Country Day School regarding law enforcement regulations. Attorney Shaw?
Yes, this is a memorandum of understanding required by the Safe School Act to be executed by the municipality and the applicable school. It establishes procedures and protocols to be followed when certain specified incidents occur on school property, at any school-sponsored activity, or in a vehicle such as a school bus, providing transportation to or from a school or a school-sponsored activity. It establishes certain incidents that require the school to report them to police authorities and certain incidents over which the school has discretion on whether to report the incident. It also has provisions governing incidents involving students with disabilities. It has provisions covering emergency situations and provisions covering law enforcement responses. The MOU referenced in the agenda is with the Community Country Day School. This MOU is nearly identical to the MOUs that have been approved at prior meetings by the board with PA Cyber Charter, the Mill Creek Township School District, and the Montessori Regional Charter School. I would recommend that this MOU be approved and that Chief Mook be authorized to execute this agreement.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Attorney Shaw? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this MOU?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 12 is acceptance of a stormwater management plan and approval of stormwater maintenance agreement. Land development plan for KDP, Lot 2. Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. As you mentioned, this is a stormwater maintenance agreement and stormwater management plan for KDP Lot 2 LLC as the developer. The name of the land development is also KDP Lot 2. For reference, this would be the lot that is having a development on it just west of the new Starbucks over by the Wegmans on West 23rd Street off of West Ridge Road. They have submitted their stormwater management plan to Greenman Peterson Incorporated, who is our contracted third-party reviewing engineering firm. There's a letter in front of you from GPI that states that they meet the township's regulations for their stormwater plan. They also have a signed stormwater maintenance agreement on the proper forms. And so at this time, I would recommend that the township accept the stormwater maintenance agreement and accept the stormwater management plan and approve the stormwater maintenance agreement.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Mr. Waldinger? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this agreement?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 13 is a temporary access agreement for tree removal for the West 6th Street Sidewalk Project for two addresses, 532 Nevada and 533 Indiana. Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would you be okay if I handled both of these matters together? Is there a
That's good.
concern with
Yeah,
that?
that'd be fine. Thank you.
Yes, this is for a temporary access agreement for the two properties that you mentioned. This would be for the project that the township received a grant for to install sidewalks along West Sixth Street from the current phase would be from Pittsburgh Avenue west to Indiana Drive. These two properties have trees that are, although they are on private property, the roots encroach under the base of where the sidewalk would be. And the homeowners have agreed to have those trees removed so that they wouldn't affect installation of the sidewalk or be damaged, due to or damage to the detriment of the tree during sidewalk installation. And so both of these property owners have signed easement agreements, temporary easement agreements with the township to allow our contractors at time of construction to go in and remove those trees when they are doing the work.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Waldinger?
I was down on those properties too, Mr. Chairman, and I want to give a shout out to the people in our engineering and planning department that went down there, especially, oh my gosh, Chad. Chad McConnell did a great job working with those residents to make sure that they, that they were going to be able to get sidewalks to take walks on, and also at the same time, take care of the trees that were there. He even went so far as to accommodate one of the residents, and she had a memorial on the one corner, and they're actually going to move it for her because her husband had passed away recently. So Chad was really, really great with everyone.
It's good to hear.
They had a few different forums here at the building. I was at both of them, I think, right, Matt? You had two open houses almost, so that people could see the project. You were very transparent. So thanks for all the work on that. And it was a grant.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item 14 is a financial security reduction request, Whispering Woods Subdivision Phase 7C. Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. Renaud Peck Real Estate LLC is the developer for Whispering Woods Subdivision Phase 7C. They have requested a reduction in their financial security that they've posted for required public improvements in this phase. Currently, Currently, there is approximately 450 feet of sidewalk that still needs to be installed and inspected. That would come to a total estimated price of $24,231.96. When you add in the 10% contingency that the township holds, that number is $655.16. Before you is a form signed by Township Engineer Rob Rodemoyer, approving the reduction in security to the amount that I mentioned, $26,665.16. So at this time, I would recommend that the board vote to reduce Erie Bank Letter of Credit number 1640, currently in the amount of $45,483.75, to be reduced to $26,655 or $655.16.
Okay, any comments or questions for Mr. Waldinger? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to communications. Treasurer Communications?
I don't have anything today.
Very good. We have a hiring request for Public Works as a streets maintenance laborer. HR is recommending Travis Jefferson to the position of street maintenance laborer. Date of hire will be July 31st at a rate of $23.92 an hour. Travis worked for Waterford Borough as a streets laborer for a year. Prior to that, he worked for J. Thomas Tree Service. He has experience in patching, mason work, and plowing. He has a Class A CDL with air brakes and tanker endorsements. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll
So
make that.
moved.
And I will second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We have two training requests for the police department. Chief?
Yes, first, the PA State Police posted an advanced motorcycle collision investigation course last week. in Peters Township, Washington County. This is a retroactive training request. Corporal Schallenberger, in his position as the department's lead traffic investigator, is tasked with investigating all motorcycle crashes involving death or serious bodily injury. And at the 11th hour, he secured funding for this course via the Erie County District Attorney's Office, hence this retroactive request. The lodging costs amounted to $677.10. Per diem costs were $340, and there were no tuition costs. These amounts were paid for upfront by the township and will be reimbursed in full by the District Attorney's Office. Next, the McLaughlin Fusion Center is hosting the 31st Annual Narcotic Investigators Training Conference, September 29th through October 2nd in Ocean City, Maryland. This is an opportunity for our drug investigators, Corporal Buckner, Detective Fennell, and Detective Caterna, to sharpen their skills regarding investigative tactics. I recommend approval of this training, and the Erie County District Attorney's Office has agreed to pay the tuition, which is $250 per person. The township would pay for travel-related costs. The hotel, 2 rooms for 5 nights, is $1,149 total. Per diems are $380 each, $1,140 total. Fuel and toll costs are estimated at $300. Total travel costs are $2,589.
Okay. Any questions for Chief Mook regarding this training?
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is the PSAT's Northwest PA Regional Forum. Mrs. Clear?
Yes. The annual Northwest PSATS Regional Conference is going to be held on August 6th here in Erie, PA. The conference offers engaging classes, lectures, updates, discussions, and presentations for township personnel in the Northwest region of Pennsylvania. The cost is $100 and $125 per attendee, and the following will be attending. It would be Jessica Stutzman, Chantel Rodriguez, both from the CRS department, Chief Mike Cliff from Mill Creek Fire, Matt Waldinger from Planning and Development, and Dan Olette and Kim Clear from Administration. The recommendation is that the board vote that these 6 individuals listed above attend the conference for a total cost of $750, which will be taken from each individual's department's training budget. And these line items have already been budgeted for. So with that, I will make a motion to approve the PSATS conference.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Executive session was held on July 10th regarding personnel matters, public safety matters, litigation matters related to right-of-way disputes, code enforcement matters, easement disputes, state court litigation, and real estate matters related to parks and rec facilities, paper streets, and stormwater easements. On July 17th, litigation matters related to opioid settlement, code enforcement matters, right-of-way dispute, state court litigation and easement dispute, personnel matters, public safety matters, real estate matters related to detention ponds, parks and rec facilities, and paper streets. Moving on to Solicitor Communications, Attorney Shaw.
Yes, I have a couple of things to report on here. At the Mill Creek Township Fire Commission meeting held last week on Thursday, July 17 of 2025, the Fire Commission voted on and passed the following 2 recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. First, the Fire Commission was presented with the results of a request for qualification issued for an architect to conduct a firehouse feasibility study and design to replace the current Bell Valley Firehouse that is located within a floodplain and has flooded in the past. 10 RFQs were received and 4 architectural firms were interviewed. Based on the interview process, the interview team recommended MW Studios to be selected for this project. MW Studios is a 42-person architectural firm that has been in business for 18 years and which specializes in firehouse and emergency services building design. It has designed more than 125 firehouse and EMS stations. After discussion, the Fire Commission voted to recommend that the Board of Supervisors move forward and negotiate an agreement with MW Studios to have MW Studios conduct a feasibility study either based on the single station or looking at it township-wide, and then follow with the design of a new fire station to replace the Bell Valley Fire Station upon approval of the feasibility study. It was noted during the meeting that the firehouse is targeted to be paid for by a federal grant, and it needs to be shovel-ready to qualify for that grant. The second recommendation, the Fire Commission discussed the current and continuing challenges faced by the township's paid fire department relating to the availability of fire engines. The current fleet of fire engines being used by the township paid staff include 3 fire engines that are 15 years or older and 1 that is 6 years old. Unfortunately, there have been maintenance issues with all of those engines, resulting in some cases there being 2 engines out of service at the same time. And while service has been maintained through the generous efforts of Kearsarge, Westlake, and West Ridge, there's an issue that needs to be addressed. The situation was temporarily alleviated when Bell Valley was willing to loan an engine to the township, but they have since taken the engine back and are refusing to allow the township to use the engine. As a result, the township has an immediate need for a more reliable engine. As the board knows, there is a 2 to 3 year wait on getting a new fire engine. However, an opportunity recently has arisen under which the board could obtain a demonstration fire engine from Glick Fire Equipment by January of 2026. While demonstration engines do not meet all of the specifications the township typically seeks, it would serve the purpose it is needed for. The cost of the demolition engine is $918,298.68, and after adding needed equipment, the total cost would be $1,187,539.27. There was some discussion during the meeting regarding exploring buying a used fire truck, but the sentiment is that the prices for used fire trucks are very high at the moment, and these likely will suffer the same issues our current fleet is experiencing. Ultimately, the Fire Commission concluded that the cost of a used engine was not worth the value being received. There was also discussion of an inquiry that was made to the City of Erie Fire Department, but they have been having similar issues with their fire engine fleet and do not have any spare engines to lend. In the end, the Fire Commission voted and recommended that the Board of Supervisors authorize the purchase of a new demo spec engine from Glick Fire Equipment for $918,298.68, with the additional needed equipment taking the price to $1,187,539.27. Given that this is a unique timing opportunity, a decision on this is somewhat time sensitive, as the available truck is not locked down and someone else could step in and purchase it. Those were the 2 recommendations of the Fire Commission.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Attorney Shaw? No action is needed at this time. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just for information. Okay.
Unless the board wants to take action, but obviously it's, these recommendations just came down on Thursday, so.
Right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Moving on to item 16, citizens to be heard. Anyone wishing to address the board? Just as a reminder, you have 5 minutes, okay? Unfortunately, no. You have 5 minutes. We do down at the board. Yeah, okay.
Did you get this on camera, Bill? You want me to help?
If you could just place the tape on the ground over here. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Actually, can I get my name on the time? You're the best. I'll just eyeball the other one. Thank you for your patience. Okay. I will try to explode through my presentation as I respect your time. Okay.
Could you state your name for the record,
Yeah,
please?
my name's Ailu. You can call me Island. And I just have a small presentation I'd like to share with you. Okay, I'll start. Oxygen. So, here in Erie, we are a community of water. It defines and it shapes us. And Presque Isle even extends kind of like a one-armed hug towards Erie. Social interactions are the glue which holds a community together. And I've developed a plan for the Gateway property at 8th and Peninsula that I would like to run through with you. I have some pictures. I wanted to use the screen, but we'll sort that. In that corner, which facilitates those interactions, those types of social interactions in three very distinct and unique ways, but each wholly focused on creating an environment for social interactions to flourish. When the crowds leave, we stay. We keep making Erie a better place. The people who live here are the ones overall who will use this space the most, and it has to work for us when the sun gets low in the sky and the rains turn into snowflakes, and we have to find ways to keep each other warm. Presque Isle is, for at least 6 months a year, too cold to swim in. And part of my plans include a community pool for that space, because swimming is so incredibly beneficial for our well-being. I believe it also is probably the only community pool around. I don't think there's a single other pool. There's Villa and there's Fitness U, but those are both indoor private, and there's nothing that we have yet. People can come from young and old. So I've designed also a space where everyone can get what they want. The people-centric, the animals of Presque Isle, the locals, and of course, our adoring out-of-town visitors. I've also used Galway as my model for the more retail shopping restaurant district, because as you can see from some of the photos at the beginning of that pamphlet, Galway is just a very, 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 very pleasant place to be in. It's like a maze. People can get willfully lost in the discovery of another corner. They can have a drink at one spot and then turn around and be on a whole new different street without really ever leaving. There's so many nooks and crannies, and that variety is so enjoyable. I've also included a frontal boardwalk which faces the traffic so that the drivers can see what a good time looks like. The entire area I've created is protected by a large berm. There's actually there's a precedent for this on the lawn of St. Jude. That one extends maybe 3 feet. I would like to kick it up a little higher. So it's pedestrian friendly, very safe, very very quiet, very calm. And yeah, with cars, that corner at 8th and Peninsula is basically like a highway at this point. Like, shoo, 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 shoo. So I think a berm is a really great idea. I've also included public transit slip for drop-offs, for buses, for bicycles, just for anything. It also can double as a turnaround for people leaving, yeah, I'll go on to that. There's also a nature trail which utilizes the existing trees and is naturally the most quiet space on the property. I was down there the other day looking around, and wouldn't you know it, a peregrine falcon just swooped out of his tree and said, "Whoa, I'm gonna be here." And I took a picture that I did not include, but maybe next time. So, yeah. So, I would like you to take a look at the pool, if you could, particularly. That pool I designed specifically, very, very specifically, and is situated to face the sun, thank you, in the most darkest times of the year. I have two sun maps, two sun charts. One of them is from December 5th, and the other one is from April 5th. In my opinion, that is when we need the sun the most. We don't have any, like, in the winter, November, December, we're coming off of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We can just flourish with that kind of activity and that excitement, those Christmas lights. But then come around to February, March, April, man, oh man, do I wish I was in Florida. No, actually, I take it back. I love being here, I love the winter, and I want to utilize some big mind thinking to figure out a way where we can gather together in the winter time and just kind of enjoy each other without thinking, or complaining about the snow. So,
Ryland, if you could finish up your thoughts, your 5 minutes is up. Thank
I
you.
would request just please, can I finish my presentation? Because I worked very hard on this, and I thank you. I'll try to do so. So, I've designed the pool areas almost like a literal sun catcher. It's like a cornucopia. The sun is also lower in the sky at that time. So if you can imagine, in the summertime, it rises and it sets. And here's noon. But in the did I say summer? In the summertime. In the wintertime, it rises and it sets, but it's lower on the horizon. So the way I've oriented the pool is for the sun to come in and reach in the farthest recesses of that cornucopia, that cone. So when the sun is highest in the sky on those rare days we get sunlight in the snow, which is so beautiful, the people in the pool will be able to feel it all the way towards the back.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if we could bring you in,
Yeah.
and maybe you could present to us,
Yeah.
because I'm finding this very, very interesting, very riveting. I love your creativity,
Thank you.
and I appreciate you bringing ideas. So often we have people that just complain on the back end, and then they don't have a solution. And I guess I want the opportunity to sit down and talk with you
Okay. Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
a little bit more, maybe.
Sure. Should I wrap it up here and then we can go on that?
Yeah. Why don't we do
Okay.
that? And then after
Sure.
the meeting, let's get something maybe set
Perfect.
up. Okay.
I will say very, very briefly, I don't even need these. We have a golden opportunity as a community to utilize the space of that property. There's about a 2-meter drop between 8th Street and 6th Street. My mouth is so dry. I'm so nervous. So excited. I want to put cars underground. And I've included in my spread the precedent in Chicago. They put 9,000 cars under Millennium Park. I'm asking only for maybe 400 or 500, if we can. I counted up the spaces from the old Bel Air lot, and it was like 250, 300. Then out on Joe Roots, it was about 450, maybe 500 total. I think we can probably get about that. Basically, because of the slope of the hill, it's not going to be as expensive as a typical underground. We don't have to dig or excavate. It's already just plain. Basically, it's just put the buildings on stilts. Whatever we build there, put it on stilts, and then slip the cars underneath it, out of sight, just there. I have in front of you demonstrated the standard size of a single parking square. This is what it is. If you want to put 400 of these somewhere on that property, I think we better go underground. underground, quote unquote, because it's, the way I designed it in my head is semi-open. It's basically closed on the 8th Street side, closed on the Peninsula side, but then the other side would be Lowell, and then like St. Jude parking lot is all open, so ventilation won't be as, I have some good ideas that, that are better described in pictures. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is that the pool? That's not the size of the community pool. Yeah, I heard you. I'm teasing. Yeah, the parking. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. And thanks for helping him.
Sure.
My name is Melissa Labritz. I live in Mill Creek. Put my name down here.
Melissa, if you could lower the microphone a little bit more so we can hear you better. Thank you.
All right. So I live approximately half a mile from the Prescott Gateway District. I don't really have anything major to talk about. It's just my opinions over the last 6 months, things I noticed that I just wanted to say. So I believe that one paid supervisor and 5 part-time supervisors, I don't understand how we're going to have the same attention to people doing their job if they're not paid, if they're volunteers, the 5 part-time supervisors, when they have full-time jobs, they have commitments with after-school activities with their kids. It's going to end up being a dictatorship with one paid supervisor, in my opinion. I think we need to stay away from Cranberry Township. I don't know why everybody's so excited about Cranberry Township. I mean, have you driven down? I lived in Pittsburgh for 42 years. Cranberry Township is like Pittsburgh. You know, Erie is nothing like Cranberry Township. We shouldn't even be comparing apples to oranges. It doesn't matter if we are the only third-class township in Pennsylvania that does things different. We're a different township. They don't have the Great Lake that we do here. That's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm excited for change. Like I said, I live right down there in that district. I'm excited. I would like to see Mill Creek become a charming destination place. I love the new Sierra store at the Mill Creek Mall. I'm really glad you guys got that. There's only 2 other Sierra stores, which are owned by TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods. There's only 2 other stores in the state of Pennsylvania. One is in Dixon City, PA, by the Poconos. One's right outside of York, PA, and right by the Mishaw State Forest, and Pine Grove State Park. The LL Bean store that we just got here in Mill Creek only has 2 other stores in Pennsylvania also. One is in Center Valley by York, PA, and one in Mechanicsburg, PA. I think that shows a lot about investors and the potential that they see in Erie County that our great supervisors that have seen over the last 4 years that have been here. I think you're doing a great job, all 3 of you. And I've only been in Mill Creek for 3 years, so I can only speak from my 3 years of experience. In my 3 years of living here, my neighborhood has gone from a residential neighborhood to a zoned for short-term rentals, Airbnbs, which is great. I love it. My neighborhood changed. I moved in July, got zoned in October 2022, and by the next summer, there's 3 like directly around my house, and I love it. They are booked for 3 or 4 months out of the year, back to back. I've seen people from Texas, Michigan, other countries, Canada, stay there, and I love it. I love the vibe it brings to the neighborhood, the life that it brings to the city. I'm excited for the Gateway project. We need to stay away from Cranberry Township. There's nothing good about Cranberry. Cranberry Township was nice 20 years ago, and then they'd ruined it over the last 20 years. It's just a development disaster. Just their planning is bad. We have good planning here in Mill Creek. We have good ideas. That island, he left, but I think his ideas are great. He embodies the Erie spirit, and that's the ideas that we need here. People come and pay to live here. We live here all year round. We're blessed to live here. We should not be greedy and selfish and complaining. I welcome anybody that comes. I'm blessed that I live here all year round, and I want to share that with as many people that come, that get the opportunity to come here. And I come up here, from Pittsburgh to visit, and I see people now, and I'm like, oh, they have to go home. Like, that's so sad when I'm up here the whole time. And to make it welcoming for them. This place was here before we were here. The Indians that lived here, the Native Americans, they valued this place as a sacred place, and it is. And we should embrace that. And I think the three supervisors have done a great job. You cannot disprove facts of investments. I've seen the board just invest so much. In the 3 years I've been here, other places would die to have investments in their town, and our town is buying properties to change it and not have it become a Rust Belt town. Literally, I've lived in places that would be like, that don't even understand how grateful we should be here. I will be voting no on to change the form of government in November. I think that's going backwards. We just hired a new paid fire department. Why are we going to not pay supervisors now? If we're gonna have one person running the town, I just don't, volunteers at the end of their workday. That's a lot. It's a lot to put our township in the hands of volunteers. In one person. My opinion. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to address the board?
I'm not going to take 5 minutes, though.
While Dennis is writing, I'm just gonna, how exciting it is that we have people here that are excited about what we're doing and excited to live here and are happy here. I share your enthusiasm for where we live. My husband's from the outskirts of Pittsburgh, and you're right, Rust Belt, it is. Disinvestment, it is. That's what happens. And so thank you for loving it. I love that you love it. And I'm excited to be here too. And I'm excited for the creativity and the ideas of everyone. So, sorry, Dennis, I'm not taking your time, but I'm just happy. People are excited.
I wanted to publicly acknowledge the supervisors, even though there was one no for buying the Zemzem property. I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm also glad to see at that meeting and today at this meeting and a couple others, some nice young ideas and young people. It's great to see. And I encourage others out there maybe, hopefully can attend or come to some meetings. That's great to see. Without young people, you have a dying community. On another unfortunate, speaking of dying, the tragedy in Lake Erie is shameful. And I wanted to acknowledge, unfortunately, people not wearing a life vest. And I want to remind people, bicycles and electric bikes, especially this time of year, a lot of scooters, please wear safety helmets out there. I don't know if it's coming out in the NSYNC summer, but I think take the opportunity to remind people simple safety features could have probably maybe saved some people's lives. And hopefully someone out there may think, hey, I'm gonna go for a quick bike ride. Maybe I'll put a helmet on, might save their life. So, thanks.
Thank you, Dennis.
Hello, my name's Stan Green. I was here back in October, about 3634 Argyle Avenue. Triber residence, was Triber, she's no longer alive. just back again, trying to see what the latest is. I know you came, not you personally, but Mill Creek came, spent a lot of money, I guess, to clear a sidewalk. Didn't do much for those of us who live there to have to look at this house still. People talk about being excited to live in Mill Creek. I've been in my house for 30 years. I moved to Mill Creek because it was the place to live. Right now, I'm not feeling that way in my house. As much money and time as I've put into it. I got to live next to this dump. What I don't understand is just recently, the squatter who comes and goes was able to pay the water bill. They let a squatter pay a water bill when they were getting ready to shut the water off. That might have been one way we could have got this guy out of this house. No water, and you can call the health board, and the health board can do something about somebody living someplace. But they let him pay the water bill. A squatter. It continues to grow. We were advised back when they did the sidewalk, they came around, they got permission from all of us who lived in neighboring properties to apparently come out and spray the fence line to get rid of some of the weeds and overgrowth. I don't know. That's never happened. It just continues. It's ridiculous. If any of you have not seen what I'm talking about, go drive over there and look at it. And then tell me if it was next to your house in beautiful Mill Creek, if you'd be happy having that place there. I'm told sons in prison are holding up things, and I'm told the sons have agreed to allow it to be done. And we're told lots of things. I mean, it's been years. I don't understand. I'm ready to move, quite frankly. It's a shame. Like I said, I've spent 30 years. I invite you to come see my house. I've put a lot of money and effort in it. I take care of it. And I got to live next to this. And on the other side of him is a doctor who built a new house 5 years ago. And I told you all this last time I was here. Everybody around us is making their home beautiful and making it a beautiful neighborhood, because it is. Except for this house, this dump that sits there, and we have to look at it. You almost can't drive down our driveway anymore because the weeds have gotten so tall and overgrown that they're taking a quarter of the driveway now. I don't know. What's the latest? What can be done? Again, that's all I have.
I can actually provide an update for you.
What's that?
I can actually provide an update for you relative to all that.
Yeah.
With respect to, the township was out earlier this year, and Mr. Waldinger can confirm, but I do not believe we sprayed. There was concerns relative to the scope of the license that we have to spray, as it doesn't relate to residential. It was only relating to parks. So there was no spraying done. We thought we might be able to, but they weren't able to based on the license we have. But with respect to what the squatter is doing or not doing, we have no control over him paying the bills or whatnot. There was a foreclosure action that was filed by the bank, but they chose not to move forward on that because they got notification that the property owner was deceased, and they haven't taken any efforts to find out who the heirs are, or reached out to us to that point in time.
Are they paying the taxes on the place?
I don't know right now. I would assume probably not, but I don't know, because they weren't paying the mortgage either. So I'm assuming this guy is not paying the taxes. But that is something we could find out from the assessment office, because it may be, I think she's been deceased now 2 years or 1 year. She might be on the upset list this year, I don't know. But with respect to the sons, one of them has consented to us doing work on the property. But the other one, they're both in prison.
Right.
One of them has not consented, and there was some speculation as to whether or not he was truly an heir or not. And we received confirmation last week that he is actually a legal heir of theirs. So we need to have both of them give permission for us to go on. Since the one has not, the next step for us is to get court permission to go on and correct it. Like I said, the one has signed it right away, happy to have us do it, so.
I would think at this level, And with what, we're literally talking years, and we're literally talking constantly saying we are going to fine, we are going to do something. I would think at this point in time, knowing we're dealing with one son who killed his baby and another son, that, I mean, what is taking so long with that in mind for us getting court permission? It seems like by now we could go get some court permission and deal with this house.
And that is our next step. We often try to get
Why are
permission.
we waiting so long for that next step?
We often try to get permission from the property owners that sign a settlement agreement, and we don't have to go through the process of getting all the court approvals. So we've tried to go through the prisons, and like I said, the one son signed it and sent it back rather quickly. The other one has been corresponding back and forth with the board as well as to our office. And, you know, now that we've received confirmation, we were hoping that with the signature of the one that's actually a biological child, that we could go forward. But then again, we received confirmation that the other one is officially in error. And so no estate's open, so that's, you know, we have a judicial assignment, and it's just a matter of getting that permission. We have the default judgments, we just need the order authorizing us to go in and correct everything.
So how long is that going to take?
It depends on the court schedule. I don't control their schedule, so once we file it, it's up to them to schedule it, from that perspective.
The way this has been handled so far, you have to forgive me, I have no confidence in what you're doing. I don't.
You know what, we do live in the United States of America. You just can't walk onto someone's property and do things. You do understand that, right?
I understand
Like, and
that.
I mean, because
spent
I would
30
not want
years
that
as
next to
a
me.
police officer.
Yes.
But
you
I
can't
also,
just walk onto someone's property
I know
and do
that.
things.
I know that, but if you look at a situation with common sense, and you know that the only two heirs are in prison, and one of them's a murderer, and the chances of you getting permission from either one of them are fairly slim, then why not start this court proceeding a lot sooner, and then you don't need permission from either prison inmate?
We have actually filed we do have a complaint that's been filed. So we have default judgment against them. It's just a matter of, we've gone for fines and penalties in civil court with the DJ, but they don't have the equitable powers. So it's just a matter of us getting the authorization to go on and correct it and file the liens. So we have an action filed, and it's not starting all over from scratch. They've all been served, they've not answered, and so we're just at that point where we have to get the permission. So.
Let me back up 1 second. You say you filed and they haven't answered,
No.
so now you're waiting for permission from the court, or?
So we filed the civil complaint.
Okay.
They were served. Neither of them answered. We entered default judgments against them and the estate. And at this phase, the next phase is to get permission to do the equitable relief, the authorization for us to go on and correct it. Because even though they have an answer, we can enter a monetary judgment. We just can't unilaterally go on and do it at this point in time. With the exception of like the grass mowing, we've been able to do that. That's a different statute or code provision we've been dealing with, but just for purposes of, I think it's the siding and maybe the front porch and the garage, I think that were the issues.
What were you saying about grass mowing?
The grass, like all the shrubs and stuff on the outside, like the sidewalk, that's a separate, we issue notices of violation relative to high grass all the time.
Right.
And whether they go on and mow that, that's a separate, that's not part of this specifically, but I think it might be wrapped in. But every year, if you don't mow your grass, you get citations from the township. And after so many of them, they can go on. But I don't know in this case if it's too
You're saying
aggressive.
they can go on the land the person
For
owns?
for mowing purposes, yeah. But that grass, I don't know how high it is here.
So why has nobody gone on the property and done any of that?
I don't know what the status of that is.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Hearing no one, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'm seconding.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion, or the meeting's adjourned at 5:29.